Thank you, everybody. So I have a story for you. Long ago and far away, this really weird thing happened. All right, it was only 11.5 miles down the road in Concord, Mass. Born to this very conservative, waspy, Republican family from New England was a girl, and they named her Star. The world was out of balance. She was really quiet and shy, and she would rather break a leg than be up on the stage talking to you. So she thought that the perfect career for her would be software engineer, right? Because software engineers, they just grunt. They don't need social skills. Is that right? The problem is she was horrible at it. And what happens in big companies when you're horrible? You get promoted, you got it. So she was promoted to middle management. Turns out she loved middle management. She thrived. She could talk with a purpose. She could hire, she could fire, she could create, she could see a vision and the details, and she didn't have to code those details. It was great. She soon found herself managing over 100 people, a product that sold $500 million a year in revenue, 10,000 units a week. She thought it was a fluke, because remember, she was an engineer. So she quit and did it again, and did it again. It wasn't a fluke. It was all good and fine until one day, it's a Saturday, because you know you work a lot when you're a middle manager, right? She's walking along, she feels a tug at the back of her jacket, so she turns around, and there's a 2- and 7-year-old kid. It's Mike and Kevin, her kids. The world was not in balance. She'd been tricked. And they said, "Hi, Mom." So you know what she did? She quit, she went to Disney World, and she started her own business. Because we know that when you start your own business, and this was over 15 years ago, by the way, when you start your own business, it keeps you in balance, right? Of course, yes, we know that. So there was one thing, though, that she learned. What do you want? She had to ask that question over and over, and every time she asked that question, she got a different answer. So sometimes it was, I want to make money, I want to deliver quality, I want to pay my bills, I want to go to my kid's hockey game. So for 15 years, she asked that question, and she got different answers. And she learned that she was in balance. It was really hard, but she figured out how to stay in balance. Okay? And there's one thing that guided her. She actually hired a coach about 15 years ago, and she was so in love with coaching that she actually hired a coach, became a coach, and then started hiring coaches in her business because she realized that not all middle managers were as lucky as her. They could not quit and go to Disney World. They needed balance too, okay? So there was a second question that she had to answer. For the people that she helped, she wanted to help those middle managers stay in business and not go to Disney World, even though that's a perfectly fine thing to do. It's the if only. Here's how if only looks. It goes something like this. If only you did, were, had, blah, 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 then you'd be running the place, right? So here's how if only looks in balance in a company. If it's a people, it might be something like this. The middle manager is, if only Paula didn't shake like a leaf when she was presenting to senior management, she'd be running the place. If only Peter didn't make people cry, he'd be running the place. Process. If only George didn't bounce around like a tennis ball, could think strategically and consistently deliver results, he'd be running the place. And if only Cynthia knew more about the content and the technology, she'd be running the place. Okay, so when you combine this if only question, if only then, with what do you want now, now, what does the company want now, now? So those 3 questions, and you put them together, you get this really simple thing called results. Put a plan, create the results. And it's twofold. It's for the middle manager, results, they're in balance, and the company. So what does it look like? These results look like the middle manager drawing their own path forward. They're empowered, they're in balance, and they're fulfilled. And when that happens, we have very strong companies. We do not have, you know, Dilbert? No Dilbert managers here. No dolts, no middle managers that hide. And what's really hard about this is our society believes, if we look at Mark Zuckerberg, that's a hero story. He went right from college to be the CEO. He skipped the middle. That's our hero story. Okay? So it's important that we support, balance, and create these very fulfilled middle management. So that is my story, and my real name is Star, or in Boston, as we say, Star Dargin. And my mission is to help middle managers stay in balance for fulfillment. So, thank you. Thank you.